Well, good morning, everybody. Here we are, day 25. I think it is here, 24. I'm not too sure. But it's great to see you all this morning. Thank you for the kind messages. God's work, done in God's way, will never let God supply. That is the words of Hudson Taylor. We have found that to be true right up until this time when we're embarking on this trip for the rest of our lives. We feel to Zimbabwe. When we went to kill some of the headquarters of CEF, Sam Doherty, the leader there, gave great advice to people who are trying to start a new work anywhere they go. He said, there's 5 things you need to do, all beginning with V. Visit, 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 visit. And it's true. That's what happened in Donegal. I visited lots of people. People got behind us. And now we're thinking, how we're going to get the work off the ground. We only know 2 people in the whole country. Just prior to us leaving on the 20th of October, we had met a guy called Evius. He was a pastor in Harare. He had come over to Donegal to meet with a guy, Brian Kerr, who brought him over. Brian had been in Zimbabwe for a while, and I brought him over for a visit. And we spoke to him, and he says, if you come to Zimbabwe, I'll arrange some place for you to stay. Don't worry about that. That'll be all organised. So here we are. We're off for our last camps in July, August, down in the new camp centre, Rosnala, Ocean View, and we're just waiting on word. We're doing the camps, we're enjoying ourselves, we're up and down at the beach, teaching the Word of God, and then on the last week of camp, we get a phone call late one evening, and it was from the guy in Zimbabwe. He says, I can't believe this, and I don't know why I'm calling you, but you've got a 3-year work permit and visa to come to Zimbabwe right now. And I said, say it again. And he said again, you've got a visa and you've got a work permit. And I said, well, praise the name of Jesus. What a God he is. And I came in, and it was a sports night, and they were all there. And Dorothy's sitting on the table watching it all happening. And she said, who was that? I said, we've got the visa. And the 2 of us looked at each other. And then Mandy and Gary were there, and other leaders came over and said, what's happening? Have you got word? I said, yes, we're going on the 20th of October. We've got a 3-year visa. And the whole place, all the kids and all, started jumping and shouting and screaming. They were all excited. And Dorothy and I looking at each other like this here. Now, this is where the rubber hits the road. So we're ready to go. We're excited about going, but the rubber's hitting the road now. We finished camps, went up to stay with my mum and dad in Belfast. I could tell you lots of stories about staying with my mum and dad over the years. How they put up with us, I don't know. But we were staying there, saying goodbye to everybody. We had a final farewell service in September down Alexander Park Avenue, Elim Church. And we sang, Jesus, all for Jesus, all I am and ever want and hope to be. All of my ambitions, hopes and plans, I surrender these into your hands. The place was bummed. There was great rejoicing. There was a great word given. And then we planned, prepared, say goodbye to our kids. The 20th of October came around very, very quickly. We said goodbye to our folks, went down to the airport with them all, with Mandy and Gary. There were many, many tears. We had 2 suitcases, and off we went. We got on the plane. As we said goodbye to them and turned around the corner in the Belfast airport to fly to Heathrow, first of all, we were crying. People who were checking our luggage and everything said, are you okay? Has something happened? I said, we're okay. We're just leaving our kids. We're all right. And we got on the plane and we cried the whole way over to London. I mean, the whole way. And can't believe we're going. And then we got into Heathrow Airport, went for a cup of coffee, and we prayed there. And we just committed our way to the Lord. You know, Proverbs 3 is a great proverb friend of ours. It says, commit your way to the Lord, he will direct your paths. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not your own understanding. We couldn't lean on our own understanding. We were trusting in him. And we got on the plane, and off we went to Harare. Our friend Evius said he would come and meet us, and he did. As we touched down Harare and got through all the formalities, 2 or 3 hours in the airport, and we got into Harare. He took us to stay with his friends, Faye and her husband, and over in a place called Masasa Park. And we went in there, and we didn't know at the time, they'd given us their bed to sleep in. They slept in a wee bed in the back. and we were there for a couple of weeks. We went into town, tried the next day, first day arriving there, it was October. It was 90 plus degrees, 32, 33 Celsius. It was stinking hot. And I mean, Spot the White Man, we are like grey coming from Ireland. And we go downtown because, and we're looking for houses. So we went to different places to look, and we looked in the paper, visited this guy, took us round to look at houses, and we couldn't see any houses we like. Most of them were falling down. So I decided, let me put a wee note in the paper. We're staying with these folks who are feeding us. We're taking great care, wonderful, godly people. Put a note in the paper, Irish missionary couple looking for a 4-bedroom house. And about 36 hours later, I got a message. Now, I didn't have a phone. It was my friend's phone. I had a phone with me, but I went to get a SIM card. And it says, oh, you have to wait for 6 months for a SIM card. And a SIM card eventually came through after about 2 months. And it cost me $150 for the wee SIM card. And getting a number, getting a card in those days was very difficult in Zimbabwe. And also the second day I was there, I went down to try and register and get a bank account down a Standard Chartered bank down in the centre of Harare. And they said, oh, this will take a little bit of time to get this and get you all cleared in the UK and everything. And it literally took 9 months for us to open a bank account. Can you believe it? 9 months. And so this lady said, I have a house, maybe it'll do you. Now, one night we were lying in Letterkenny and I had a dream, and I woke Dorothy up. I said, I've had a dream. I will go, and in the dream, there's a house, there's a wall, there's a green gate. When you go inside, there's garages to your right. There's a cream house with a green band around the bottom of it, all parquet flooring, and a few other. I says, this is a dream from God. This is a house we're going to get. Well, this actually happened to be about the 21st house we looked at. We met this woman in the town, Mrs. Bowers. She drove us out because we still didn't have a car at that time. This is after about 2 weeks trying to look at houses, trying to open bank accounts, trying to get phones on the go, just constant battles right from day one. And we then went to see this house. We drove up, there was a wall, there was a green gate, there was a green band around the bottom of the house. It was all parquet flooring. She says, I got this house done for my mum. She lives in the rural areas. And when she came in, it's been all rewired, repainted, everything. And the house looked like new. It was gorgeous, huge big house on 2 acres. And she says, could be the house for you. And as we looked around, we says, this is the house for us, because we knew we'd have a lot of visitors and people coming and staying with us for times and on holidays and all the rest of it, vacation. And we says, okay, this definitely looks like the house. This is a house in a dream. We told her about the dream. We said, how much is it to rent? And she says, £350 a month. Now, that was about 30% of the budget that we had monthly to live in Zimbabwe. But we had promised our kids we would get a safe house, so it had a wall and an electric fence on top of that there for thieves and Tutsis to try and get through, to keep them out. And it looked like a perfect place for us. There was a swimming pool. It was just perfect for us. And we says, yeah, this will be the place. And by faith, we said, we'll take the house. And so about a week later, so we'd been there 2 weeks. So this was the beginning. We came on the 20th, just at the beginning of November, about the 3rd of November, we moved into the house. We had no beds, we had no lounge suite, we had no knives and forks. We borrowed 2 knives and forks, 2 cups, 2 plates from our friend Faye and brought them with us. And then we had to go into town in all this heat. And look, all the lounge suites were either blood red velvet, dark brown velvet, emerald green velvet, horrible. We were able to get all the cups and saucer bits and pieces, stuff like that together. At night, because we had no stove, we went up to Westgate and they had a pizza inn. And so every night we ate a medium pizza between us. Now, a medium pizza, about that size, about 12 inches across between us. 4 slices a night, that was it. Now I could eat a 16 slicer on my own. So I don't know what the story was back then, but we were eating this pizza every night, and after a month, Dorothy said, no more pizza. I've never eaten pizza again as long as I live, and she never has. But we got a stove, and we were able to start cooking. We got a lamb suite that we liked, and different odds and bods, and then we went and looked for a car, and we got a Mazda, like a pickup car that would take us over hills and mountains. We're talking to Christians. We're trying to meet some pastors and ask them, how can we get to work? We're visiting people, given names by different people. We went to the Evangelical Fellowship of Zimbabwe. They were having a pastor's meeting. Someone told us about it. I went there and I says, could you give me a couple of minutes just to share? I'm here to help the local church. And he said, no. And I said, no. He said, no, we have no time for you to speak. And there must have been 50 leaders there. Not one of them spoke to me. And tried to engage and interact with them. No, didn't want to know. And I mean, I was a miserable boy coming home that day from that meeting. Nobody seemed to want to. And I then, am I going to get a work going here? I then decided that we would just keep visiting people until the Christmas and see what's happening. Mandy was supposed to come out at Christmas. Gary was going to come out at Christmas. And then we heard Gary broke his leg, and a bad break. Gary wasn't going to be able to come out, so only Mandy was going to come out. And so we were feeling quite lonely. We didn't know anybody apart from these two people. We're eating pizza every night, which Dorothy didn't like. Now she's cooking a wee bit for us. We're in and out of a few shops, but we still have to go into town with all the heat, trying to meet people, trying to get a work going. It was very, very difficult. We were feeling very, very down, very, very lonely. But our trust was in God. Our hope was in God. We knew that He had called us. We were trusting in Him that He would enable us to open a work. And I thought, let's start with schools. How do we get into schools? I started phoning around. A guy said, you need to go here. What do I get into the schools? You know what's coming next? I'll tell you tomorrow. God bless you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.